Video TS 3.2 Part 2. The topic in the task card is: what was your favorite free time activity when you were a child? You should say what the activity was, how much time you spent on the activity, why you preferred it over other hobbies, how it helped shape you as an individual.
Now you will have to talk about a topic for 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to plan what you are going to say. Here's the topic. You can note down the points if you wish.
When I think of my early childhood, I think of lonely afternoons. Both my parents had regular day jobs. My school got over by 11 in the morning, and when I came home, there was no one except my grandma. My granny was a great storyteller, and she got me hooked to fairy tales early in my life. When I became a little older, I started reading storybooks myself. There was a fine library in our school, and we could borrow a book as soon as we returned one. So every afternoon, I used to read for hours, often finishing a book in a day. I began with the Grimm brothers and Hans Andersen. Then I graduated to Enid Blyton. But ultimately, the books I loved most were adventure stories. I fell in love with Robert Louis Stevenson, Jules Verne, and Rider Haggard. I also read novels by Charles Dickens and Alexander Dumas. I believe I read every day through the afternoon, about 3 to 4 hours, until it was time to go out and play. Why did I prefer reading to other hobbies? To put it simply, I read because I didn't have a choice. I grew up before the age of the TV and video games, and for a lonely child living in a city, there were very few options available. Reading books, particularly classics, opens up a lot of windows to the world. We come to know about places and times that we cannot visit physically. At the same time, reading helps us to understand people better and introspect. I believe I have learned to think more deeply because of the books I read as a child.